Do you believe in magic and weird things? There are magic and weird things happening all around us all the time in the world. Most people know this because they've had something magical or weird happen to them. For example, the other day I was feeling really alone and sad. I miss my husband. I miss him telling me that he loved me. So I said in a whisper, God, I really need someone to tell me they love me right now. So I went on walking towards my bedroom, and I got a text from my friend Stephanie. It said, "Hi, BFF. I was thinking about you. I love you." That happened within 3 to 4 minutes of my asking for it. It's not an unusual conversation, but Stephanie doesn't actually text me often. We may not talk for a couple of weeks or even a month. That was a magical conversation out of the blue, within minutes of my request. Those things happen to me all the time, at least 2 to 3 times a week. And when I'm consciously paying attention and asking for them, it'll happen every day. It doesn't matter if you don't believe in God or the universe or any power within us to manifest. This magical and weird thing is something that's been going on forever in every country around the globe. It's part of the human experience, and it's simply not a brilliant move to deny it. Better, I think, to accept it and study it, understand it, if possible. Now, personally, I believe in God, and that opened the door for me to discover most of this in my life. I've had experiences since my teens, and then, during my research, I find that there are saints who levitated all the time, and it's documented. I believe God lives inside me and is with me all the time. And I believe we are each born with divinity inside us, something that does stuff we don't completely understand. It doesn't work if you don't want it or believe it, but I don't think it ever actually goes away. It's part of you, but you have free will to be who you want to be. You can choose to ignore it. Just like I can choose to ignore that I might be too talkative sometimes in a group. However, it's there. I know how it works in me because it's been a part of my life I've accepted for so long that, like my hands and feet, I take it for granted. I know when it's working and when I'm blocking it. So, does God answer me every time? Yes, but it's conditional on my mindset. I can't have any anxiety because He only works in peace. And if I calculate what I'm going to ask, it doesn't work as well either. It's a spontaneous, natural thing that seems to be alive. That's why most Christians call it Holy Spirit. It's in us, and it's like another individual. For instance, I have asked for 30 years to become a millionaire, and it hasn't happened. Yet, anyway. But I have lots of stories. Here's one about a terrifying premonition. I was about 27 years old, married with 3 little kids. My husband and I came home from work and started making dinner. The kids were with my friend who had 2 kids of her own, and she'd taken them all to see another friend we both knew. And they were now on their way home. I took a couple drags of some weed. Then I turned the TV on and sat on the couch waiting for dinner to cook. As I watched TV, I saw what I can only call a vision superimposed over everything. I saw my friend driving the kids home, turning at an intersection I knew very well to enter the on-ramp to the interstate. But I also saw another car come through the intersection and hit her, pushing her car over the embankment and onto the highway. My whole body was shaking, and I was in panic. So I went to my husband and told him what happened. But he brushed me off and said I was just high. He said I should sit down and watch TV. I went back and sat down and looked at the TV, but I was still shaking. I tried to take deep breaths and get peaceful, but it wouldn't work. The shaking seemed out of my control. I knew without a fraction of a doubt in my mind that my friend and the kids were experiencing this accident right then, at the moment. I'd had a similar experience when I was a teenager in a car with my mom and dad. That's another story, but when I told Mom what I saw, she told me to pray for safety. So remembering that, I did it. I asked God to overlook the weed I had smoked and protect my kids so they wouldn't have a scratch on them. In about 10 minutes, the shaking stopped. I knew the accident was over. It had happened. But I knew I wouldn't get any information from them right away. I had to wait till they were taken to the hospital. Then I would get a call. Without cell phones back then, I could only sit and watch the house phone on the stand beside the TV. Not able to focus on anything else, I watched the phone, waiting. It was about 30 minutes later when it rang. It was the hospital, and they said my kids were in an accident, but they'd been checked out and were fine, and could I come pick them up? We immediately went to get them. My kids didn't have a scratch on them, but my friend and her 2 kids were pretty scraped and banged up. It crossed my mind that I'd neglected to add them to my prayer, not because I didn't care about them. It was just instinct to think immediately of my kids when I had the vision. I'm thankful for whatever this thing is that worked inside me, because I completely believe my prayer changed the direction that accident was going. I saw the oncoming car push my friend's car over the embankment and crash onto the highway below. But my friend's car did not get pushed. Instead, it stopped in the intersection when it was hit. The same thing happened during my teenage experience. I prayed and the outcome changed from what I'd seen in my vision. For some reason, it made a difference in the outcome for me to see a vision and then pray for safety. I believe sincerely that is why I saw a vision both times. I believe there is power working around us and inside us all the time, and it makes me stand in awe of how mysteriously we were created in ways that, with all our current abilities and growing knowledge, we still have almost no understanding of how things like this happen to people all the time, all over the world. Fantastic things we cannot explain at all, except in religious language, because we have no scientific terms for it. Ignoring or laughing at people who believe in magical and weird things is not an intelligent response. Occurrences are simply too plentiful and too often. Witness and personal accounts are documented. We are not as powerless as we have been taught. We are connected more intricately and vastly than our scientific ability can prove yet. But I also believe that soon, someone with the wealth to do it will pour the funds into the research that already exists, poised to prove what is happening within us, how these connections function, and through what avenues. Then our descriptions of God, the universe, and Source will finally blossom into reality, not stealing the magnificence, but making us honor it more appropriately. I think that will be an amazing day. It'll be a day when we stop believing our lives to be meager and helpless against fate. Like an awakening, we will see and become truly what we were made to live the way we were meant to live, not as victims and slaves to fate, but full partners with the Creator's intention. That is when we will understand how to build, how to dream, and how to be co-creators. I believe the more we have small glimpses into this plan of awakening, the greater the resurrection of that fire of creation will become inside our gut. These inexplicable experiences of magic and weird will pull us to trust and step forward, knowing without a doubt that we are walking into mankind's greatest adventure, the most glorious of victories. And I believe anyone can experience this now, simply by beginning to do a very little habit. Pay more attention to the things around you all day. Talk to God, universe, or source. Even if you hear no response, just talk. Chatter about menial things. When I first started doing that, I had a Bluetooth in my ear, so people didn't think I was just crazy. But another thing is to pay attention if something pops into your mind. Don't automatically blow it off as mind clutter. Seriously, grab it and consider what it's saying. You can tell the difference. Do the same thing when you're chattering. If you have a question, the answer can come from anywhere. A billboard, a song on the radio, a random thought, or anything else. Take note. Consider what it's saying. Synchronicity is real. Coincidences are not random. Remember, energy is all around us, everywhere. Everything is full of energy. Empty space is not empty. It is full of energy. And this magical, weird stuff is energy. Don't make it scary. It's not. It's connection. But we can make it scary if we choose to do so. We have darkness inside us too. Don't give that your focus. Don't give your darkness your direction and power. We learn how to open those dark doors within us, and we know when we're doing it. Use your power of connection in the direction it was meant to be used, for good, not for destruction. The metaphors that had the best descriptions we could express and share in written words will suddenly be clearly experienced and known without language. But the more complete words of the heart and soul, shared naturally in the old way. You are so much more than you know. Trust it inside you. It is the embodiment of what love truly is in its power. I'm looking forward. I hope you are too. Don't be afraid. We were created for a future, not a decimation. We were not created to sink into the lowest level of our capability. Don't believe as you look around that that is where we are truly headed. That divinity, that fullness of love is never defeated inside. It lives even when we do our most evil to destroy it. It lives even after we are gone. So do what you came here to do. Do good. Now do it with the parts of yourself you've ignored. Say hello to you. Thank you for listening to my stories. Please subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you next week.